Everywhere you go, someone is trying to convince you that their business model is the golden ticket to success. But the problem is that what works for someone won't necessarily work for someone else. You know, there is no one size fits all kind of approach. The truth is that building a business isn't about chasing the next big thing. It's about building something that aligns with your unique skill set, something where you can play to your strength and your skills. And in this free course, I'm going to show you exactly how to find your high income skill and build a 100K a year business around it in the next few months. No gimmicks or cookie cutter advice, just a proven framework to turn what you're good at into a thriving, profitable business that is tailored to you, your strengths, your passions, your expertise. And I know it works because it's the same framework that Samuel used, who's a video editor from Brazil who went from nothing to 8K within 13 days using this framework. Or Mason, who in the space of less than 3 months learned a brand new skill and made over 15K profit. Or even Chris, who went from working a job at Halfords making $11 an hour to now making over $10,000 with the skill of AI automation. Or any other people on screen, all saying the same thing: the skill to profit framework works. Some of them wasted years trying all the other business models, your SMMA, dropshipping, IPGA, growth operating, whatever it may be. Just don't fall into the same trap. So if you're ready to stop chasing and start attracting using what you're good at, then listen in, because this is going to be the best training of your life. And in case you don't know me, my name's Callum, and I've been making money online since roughly the age of 17, from when I started my first ever kind of online scrappy business, and my second business, and my third business, and my fourth, and not because I'm a serial entrepreneur, no, but because all of those other businesses failed. But now, after many years of trial and error and obsessing over how I can turn what I'm good at into a business, I started my fifth business, which is the Kaizen, and that has been somewhat of a success. And it's a business that now generates me over $100,000 a month at 21, and it allowed me to escape that so-called matrix that so many other people find themselves trapped in. And the funny thing is that it wasn't a shitty business model that I used to actually do this. I actually started off with a skill that I wasn't even good at, got good at the skill, learned how to sell it properly, and scaled to this point. And so if you're looking to do something similar, you know, take something that you're actually good at or learn a skill that you're passionate about and actually turn it into something that can generate you a substantial amount of money reasonably quickly as well, without having to spend a ridiculous amount of time or money doing it, then listen in. And I'm going to break it down to the most simple, actionable steps that I possibly can, so ideally you can leave this video and get started the second you finish. And at the end of the video, I'll be giving you a game plan document where you can take what you've learned, put it into a game plan, so you have a clear, actionable next step of where you can actually go. So for the sake of your future, lock in for the next hour of your life, get rid of distractions, and make this your primary focus. Let's get started. So ladies and gents, let's dive into it. Let me take you through the skill to profit free training, how you can turn any skill you have into a profitable cash flowing business. I'll say 10K, 20K, 30K per month, whatever you want. The truth is that the framework that I'm about to run you through has the ability for you to scale to whatever height you want to scale to. Okay, and I don't say that lightly, I say that with actual proof, backing it with people that have done it from nothing to 10K, from 10K to 20K, 30K to 40K, however far you want to go. This framework is going to help you scale. So let me take you through on my Miro board, and we're going to kind of run through it and explain it in as much detail as I possibly can. Cool. So first things first, what does the framework actually consist of? Now, when you look at the framework, there's a few different moving pieces, and I've simplified it. I've simplified it in as much detail as I possibly can, because if I was going to go into full detail and go into every minor aspect and piece of it, it's going to take a long time. So let me take you through like the overview of the framework that we're going to go through in this free training. So 0.5 is the foundations. It's the ugly truth of business models, because in order to understand how this framework works and in order to actually use it to your best advantage, you need to understand the current state of business models, how they work and why they're pieced together. Next, we're going to go through your skill. I'm going to explain to you how to find and qualify your skill, sharpen your skill, and also skill stack, which is basically making your overall skill set far more valuable. Secondly, market. We're going to go over profitable markets. We're going to talk about the knowledge bias and how you can find the perfect market that is best going to help you not only sell your skill, but sell it for a premium, right? You want to find a market that's going to pay you the most amount of money possible for it, and that's what we're going to do. Thirdly, we've got the service, where we're going to talk about the offer, the transformation that you have to help people achieve, and of course the actual solution delivery. What are you trying to get them to? Then we'll talk about leads, how to actually generate leads using the Upwork method, and how to generate leads at scale. And then we're going to talk about sales. So we're going to go for sales framework and sales principles. So this training is going to be pretty packed. Okay, we've got a lot of stuff to go through in short, in quick, but it's going to be incredibly valuable. So if you've got a pen and paper with you, get it out, write stuff down as I go through it, because hopefully this will all start to make sense and piece together as we get towards the end. So first things first, let's talk about the foundation, 0.5, the ugly truth of business models, okay? Firstly, what in the world is a business model? Now, the first thing you've got to realize before you do any of this, before you try and monetize any skill, is that all business models are skill sets with pretty labels attached to them, Okay, and what I mean by that is that when you get started and you think, oh cool, how can I make money online? Let's have a think, let's have a brainstorm. You instantly go towards business models. It's like, I'll find a business model that I can jump on and it will help me print out money at the other end. The problem is that when you are doing this, when you are just choosing a business model and deciding that you are going to learn that business model, you're not learning a business model, you're learning a skill set. You're learning a collective of skills that work together in a specific way to produce a result, right? So SMMA, a very, very common one, right? A social media marketing agency that you've probably heard of before. On the kind of tip of the iceberg, you've got SMMA, happy days. But when you actually look below the surface and you have to ask yourself the question, what does this business model actually consist of? You'll start to find things like copywriting, sales, marketing, project management, people management, media buying, funnel building, ad psychology, data analysis. And now, at first glance, this is fine, cool, this is the business. But when you are starting off and you have no idea what you're doing and you say, I'm going to start SMMA, you've got to fully understand and comprehend that you are also learning copywriting, you're learning sales, you're learning marketing, project management, people management. The people that win with SMMA and these kind of business models are the people that have experience. It's the people that have a background in certain areas, or it's the people that started off with the skills. They didn't start off with SMMA, but they started off with marketing, then moved to sales, then learned copywriting. So if you do want to succeed in one of these business models, of course you can. I'm not saying you can't. What I am saying is that you've got to be logical with it. You've got to be smart. You're not learning a business model. You're learning a skill set. In order to learn a skill set, you first have to learn the individual skills. But it's not just SMMA. Growth operating, another super popular one at the moment, where essentially you partner with an influencer and you help them grow their business for whatever reason. Apparently that works. But it's not just growth operating. It's copywriting, sales, social media marketing. It's project management, team management, lead generation. Do you know how to generate leads? Probably not. Do you know how to build a funnel? Probably not. Well, you need to have that skill if you're going to do growth operating, okay? And I speak from an influencer's perspective. I've got 700k followers across the board. Do you know how many people have reached out to me saying, hey, I can help you growth operate? And I go, give me your skill set. Where's your experience lie? And if it isn't in all of these, complete turn off. Another one, right? YouTube automation, it's not as common, but people do it. You need to understand the YouTube algorithm to a T. You need to understand how to edit videos at high quality. You need to understand social media marketing. You need to understand how to manage projects, script writing, retention, click-through rate optimization, content psychology, content marketing. Do you know all of that? Probably not, right? So why are you jumping into this business model that you have no experience in? That is what you need to understand when it comes to business models, okay? You're not learning a business, you're learning a skill set. And if you want to learn a skill set, start off with one skill. That is your key. That is where you need to start with. So let me tell you about why I actually closed down a 15k per month coaching program. And it was because of this fact. It was because of the true reality behind skill sets. Now, if you didn't know, I previously ran a coaching program called SMIP, Social Media Influencer Pooling Academy. And I basically taught people how to run the business that I built using my skills. So my skills started off with an influencer. I was posting content, I was managing social media, and I kind of like merged my skills together and stacked them on top of each other to create an influencer marketing agency, right? That did really well for me. It did fantastically well. But then I started to coach other people. I was like, cool, I'll teach other people how to actually do what I'm doing. And don't get me wrong, in principle, it sounds fantastic. I'm teaching other people how I got to the point of where I'm at. But what I didn't realize is that to get to the point of where I'm at, I had to go through countless trials and tribulations. I had to learn skills on skills on skills on skills and stack them together to make them what they were. And I stacked my skills to make an influencer marketing agency. People getting started can't do that. You just can't. And don't get me wrong, this worked. Like, here are some wins from the agency, from the coaching that I ran, right? People winning 15k brand deal, 2k brand deal, signing, influencers, 5k, like people were winning with it, but also people weren't winning with it. And it just didn't sit right with me, the fact that some people were succeeding and others were just completely failing. And so I had to kind of go back to the drawing board and identify that, okay, the reason it works for some and not for others is because for some, they have the skills that they need. For others, they're jumping into this business model with no skills and it's just purely unfair, which is why I ended up shutting it down. And the sooner you realize this, the sooner you'll start to actually make money. Okay, very similar, for example, to how Martin did. He didn't do SMIP. He didn't do influencer marketing. He monetized his skills. And as you can see here, he had 4 meetings closed to 1k setup fee and 25% profit share. That's just getting started. Another one, here's Mason, right? One of my top students. He had his first 5k month. I think this was off the back of 2 clients clients, I want to say. Very easy to do. He didn't jump on a business model. He didn't start some trendy bandwagon. No, he monetized a singular skill, one skill, monetized it using the skill to profit framework that I'm about to run you through, and obviously produced that, which is pretty cool to see. So that is 0.5, the foundations. Now we move into your skill. Step 1 to this entire process is actually identifying your own high income skill. Okay, so it's finding and qualifying your skill, and then we're going to talk about sharpening your skill and skill stacking. First things first, do you have a skill? If your answer to that is yes, happy days, you have a skill. If your answer to that is no, I don't have any skills, firstly, what is stopping you from learning one? I mean, firstly, before that, everyone has a skill. Everyone starts from zero. Everyone has a skill. A lot of the time, you just don't realize you have a skill. But even if you are very, very confident that you don't have a skill, what is stopping you from learning one? Okay, high income skills. Yes, they're high income because they are unique and they are kind of somewhat difficult to learn, but there is no stopping you from actually learning a high income skill. So what is stopping you? There's no excuse to you, not starting this approach of monetizing a skill because I don't have any skills. Learn one. It's kind of the whole point, right? It's the whole idea. And again, everyone starts from zero. Super important to understand that no one's more special than you. Everyone starts from the same position that you do. So how do you find it is the question. How do you find your high income skill that you can actually use and monetize and start a business out of? Now, I've got 3 methods that you can see here. Okay, method 1, your unfair advantage. We'll actually dive into that one first. So your unfair advantage is the thing that you have that allows you to stand out from everybody else. Whether you believe it yet or not, you do have one. You're just yet to find it. My unfair advantage, for example, was understanding social media. I grew up in a time where, social media, Instagram and stuff like that was just getting developed and I was on it constantly. I started theme pages, I started experimenting, and I used that kind of unfair advantage to start my first business, which was managing restaurant social media. That was my unfair advantage, but I guarantee you have one. Sometimes it's quite hard to find. For example, here's a few examples of how you find it. It could be based on your past experiences. That could give you an unfair advantage. It could be asking yourself, what do people naturally come to me for? That's your unfair advantage. It could be, what do you enjoy doing that can be monetized? That's also your unfair advantage. It can be around your hobbies. Here's just a few questions you can ask yourself if you're trying to find your unfair advantage. But I would always recommend to use your unfair advantage. If you're starting a business with no advantage in that business, why are you starting it? You're playing on the same level playing field as everybody else, which you don't want to do in business. Whenever you're starting a business, you want to have something about it that gives you the edge, right? It gives you an advantage. When you look at the biggest businesses in the world, right? All these business owners and all these entrepreneurs, they started with an edge, with a knack, with an understanding. Maybe they studied something and they went into business in that area, whatever it may be. Past experiences can also be about, your kind of did you have a job? What did you do in your job? Which I'll talk about a bit more. So that's option 1, finding your unfair advantage. Very simple to do. Do some research on it. Have a brainstorm. Look in the mirror and say, what is my unfair advantage? What is there about me that is different to other people? It makes me stand out, makes me special, because I guarantee you have one. Again, your past experiences are a fantastic option because you can use your knowledge advantage. You can use what you already have. Take Adam, for example, right? He's one of my students who, when initially joining the inner circle, he thought he had nothing. He couldn't find anything about him that was actually special, that was unique. And after a lot of back and forth discussion, he realized that he does have an unfair advantage. He has something that's unique about him because in his job where he worked, he was an apprentice and he would manage this company that he worked at. He would manage their spreadsheets and basically do everything to do with their spreadsheets. I don't exactly know what he did, but he was basically a wizard with the spreadsheets. And we actually used that. We said, cool, you have that spreadsheet advantage, right? You have an advantage of understanding how it works and how to use it. Why don't we use that? Long story short, we ended up using that and he started his business and he got 2K in a month per client. So he makes 2K a month per client managing, building spreadsheets, building custom bespoke spreadsheets for people on Excel or Google Sheets, that kind of thing. That sounds simple. That sounds almost stupid. It sounds too stupid. Someone making 2K per client per month building spreadsheets. But it's true. And Adam, again, this is 2.5K USD, right? That is replacing a full-time job for a lot of people, building spreadsheets. And he used his past experience and his unfair advantage because, again, that was the experience he built up from working his job. So what I'm trying to say here is that it's quite easy to do once you identify your unfair advantage, all right? And then we move over to method 2, which is your interests, okay? Again, another method of how you can actually find your skill. This is the kind of idea, ask yourself the question, what are you passionate about? What are your hobbies? What do you spend most of your time doing, right? Because once you can really identify what you are passionate about and really identify, that thing that lights up the fire within you, you can use that. That is a method of using a skill. It may be, for example, example, it may be something to do with sports, for example. Let's say that you're super passionate about skiing. Okay, cool. How can we use that? How can you use the passion around skiing and turn it into a skill? Is it the knowledge of the skiing world and how it all works? For example, it could be that you love going skiing. Okay, you book loads of skiing holidays, all that kind of stuff. Amazing. Well, let's say, for example, you're able to get really cheap deals when you go on holiday. You're able to find loads of opportunities at like a really cheap price to, I don't know, book everything, your lodge, your ski resort, all this kind of stuff. Maybe you can use that. Maybe that's a skill and we can use that and put that towards a business. So really have a think. What are your interests and what can you use to create a business out of them? And the third method of actually choosing a skill is just to go with what's proven. And this is kind of like last resort, right? This is assuming nothing else works. You can't find anything, like you're on your back foot. Let's just go with something that's proven. Go with a skill that's proven. So here I have two resources. Number one is a skill calculator, and this skill calculator is basically, it's like an AI high income skill calculator. So you go and fill it out and it asks you a bunch of questions about you, yourself, what you're interested in, what your passions are, what you're better at, whether you're an introvert, extrovert, that kind of thing, and it will give you a high income skill based on the answers that you give it. It's a pretty clever tool. I'll leave it in the link below, in the link to the description, so you can take a look at it, but that will help you identify a high income skill. Very simple, very straightforward, but it works. Or you can go with a skill validator quiz. Now, if you have a skill, but you're not really sure if it's actually a good high income skill, you can put it through the skill validator quiz, which is basically figuring out if your skill is sellable, because not every skill is sellable, right? I could have the skill of, I'm really good with country flags. I know what flags correlate to what country. Great. Is it a sellable skill? Probably not. And you would find that out when you put it through the skill validator quiz. So if method 1 doesn't work, you don't think you have an unfair advantage, which I'm sure you do. You just got to find it. If method 2 doesn't work, you have no interests. It's a shame. What about method 3? Just go with something that works. And there's like 30, 40, 50 high income skills that it will give to you. It will give you one based on the answers that you give it, but you've got like a bunch of different ones to choose from, which again is add to your benefit. And if you think you have a high income skill, go with the skill validator quiz. Okay, so that is basically how you actually find your skill, the one you have. If you don't have one, go with the skill calculator. But what makes a skill high income? What actually makes it a high income in a point where companies will pay you a lot of money for it? That is a very, very good question. Now, there's a few things that make a skill high income, aka the difference between having the skill of managing social media, right, which isn't a high income skill, or the skill of something that pays you thousands and thousands, possibly to 5,000, 10,000 a month. What is it? First things first is that it has to be results based. Your skill has to be able to produce a result for somebody or something or a company or whatever it may be. For example, again, I go back to the social media management, for example. Managing social media is not a high income skill because it very rarely produces a result, something tangible that the company can have in return. Typically, social media management is convenience, right? It's something that the company, for example, doesn't want to do, so that they'll happily pay you for it. Yeah, it's convenient that you do it and they don't have to do it. You don't want to have a skill that's convenient because it's not as valuable as something that is results-based, where you deliver the service for them and they make money out of it. That's results focused, such as Facebook ads or something like that. Results-based, not always going to be the best option. Next thing that makes a skill high income is that it solves a big enough problem. If it solves a big problem, it is likely high income, and this is a problem for the company. Okay, so you've really got to have to think about, okay, cool, what problems can I solve, and is it a big enough problem? For example, again, social media management, it isn't typically a big problem, unless the company gets all their leads and does all their business from social media, then typically social media management, you can't really do too much with it. Next, is it in demand? Another good question to ask. Very, very simple, very straightforward. Is it an in-demand skill? If it's not in demand, people aren't going to pay as much money for it. It's probably not that high income. Next, the result that your client gets out of it. And this is probably the biggest one. If you have a high income skill, it may be high income for some people, but it may not be high income for other people, So let's say, for example, video editing, right? The skill of video editing, that is a high income skill for coaches who get their clients through Instagram, because you can help the coaches edit videos, they can sign more clients and get more customers from Instagram. That's high income. But video editing isn't really going to be a high income skill for a restaurant, for example, right? Because they're not going to benefit that much off having a nice video edited. Typically, they benefit off SEO and stuff like that so that people can find them when they search up things online. So you've really got to ask yourself, depending on who you want to work with, what is the result that they're going to get out of your skill? The better the result is, the more impactful the result is, the more someone will be willing to pay for it, okay? So those are a few kind of factors that make a high income skill or dictate whether your skill is high income or it's not very high income, okay? And again, you can write these down. That's what it falls down to. So Another thing you got to realize is that it doesn't have to be basic. Your skill does not have to be basic whatsoever. Here's a few examples of skills within the inner circle, the training that I do, and the kind of like training group that I have. Here's a few examples of skills that people have. So you've got blog writing here, spreadsheet building, AI chatbots, AI lead generation, ad optimization, appointment setting agency, automation, copywriting, funnel building, architectural design. Like, the people that I work with, and bear in mind, I help people monetize their skills, right? And these people that I work with, they have skills across the board. They have the most random skills. Some of them are very, very common, but any skill can be monetized. It doesn't have to be basic. It can be unique. It can be different. It can be something fiery. For example, the person who has the skill of architectural design, they have it because they work in architectural design. Their business, their service is actually helping companies improve productivity and increase efficiency through redesigning their work environment. That is using architectural design, but making it a high income skill, okay? Again, it goes with absolutely anything here. Spreadsheet building, again, I'm referring to Adam, the guy who builds spreadsheets for a living for companies. That's a skill that you think, nah, it's not high income. But when you realize that a company can save time because they don't have to use tools and softwares, they'll save money on these tools and softwares. It would cost a lot of money for someone to build out a bespoke software for them. This is the kind of idea, okay? And that's just kind of like an option of what you can actually go with. Now, hopefully you have a bit of a better idea on what your skill could potentially be, okay? Again, going back to these three things, if none of these solve a problem, ideally the third one will, and you can go for the high income skill calculator, or you've just found one, you have a knack, you have an idea of a skill. Then we move over to what's known as skill stacking. Okay, now skill stacking is basically the process of stacking complementary skills on top of your already existing skills to make your overall skill set more valuable. Look at it like this. The tools are skills. Screwdriver, hammer, saw, knife, whatever it may be. Those are your skills. Putting it in a box and making them all work together and produce a result, that's a skill set, okay? And now the goal is to make your overall skill set more valuable, because the more valuable your skill set is, the more someone would want it, the more someone's going to pay for it. It's the kind of idea where, let's say, for example, you want to hire a builder. You want to hire a builder, and that builder comes with a hammer, one singular hammer. That's all that builder has. Is that builder very valuable because they have one skill? Probably not. But what if they have a toolkit with 20 different tools that they can use to solve any problem? That builder is now far more valuable because they can't only hammer nails, but they can also use a screwdriver. They can also use a wrench. They can also use a saw. Like, there's loads of different tools that this builder can use, which makes them more valuable. They're applicable to more things. They can solve more problems. They're not only going to be able to hammer nails in, but they're also going to be able to cut carpet, for example. Do you get the idea? So you want to take your skills, whatever they may be, and build them into skill sets, make them work together to produce a result, okay? And there's loads of different things you can do alongside this. For example, Adam, again, going back to this guy that was building the spreadsheets, right? His skill may be spreadsheet building, but he could definitely utilize the skill of, for example, AI or just automation in general, right? And he could help companies automate their client tracking into a spreadsheet. And now he's stacked the skill of automation, or he could stack it with spreadsheet building. And now he has a really valuable skill set. Okay, he can help companies produce a far better result. That's the idea. That's the point of where you're trying to get to. So the goal is to make your overall skill set more valuable. And the question you may be asking is, what skills do I stack with my original skill? What do I include on it? Now, there's loads of different options of what you can do. A few different kind of tips and tricks I would give you is, number one, go with what's proven to work. Always going to be your easiest option, always going to be your best kind of approach to go. Just do what's already proven to work, okay? Number two, use your interest and knowledge stack. Now, when I talk about skill stacking, it's not always stacking skills on top of already existing skills. Sometimes it's stacking knowledge. It's stacking your knowledge advantage within a certain area to actually help companies do something. So again, let's say your skill is automation, right? That's your foundational skill, your level 1 skill. Let's say you have a massive knowledge advantage in the real estate world because you used to work in real estate. That's a knowledge advantage that you have. If you can combine automation with real estate, you can now specifically automate for the real estate world. And that's a skill that people are going to pay, or the real estate world pay a lot of money for, because you know where their problems are. And that's what I mean by a knowledge stack. Okay, I mean that you can use your knowledge to actually identify problems more specifically. Because now I'm not just automating, but I'm helping a specific person or a specific company or a specific industry or niche solve their problem. The third thing you can use to stack, or question you can ask yourself, is What will make your skill more valuable? Simple as that. What will make your skill more valuable? If you have the skill of marketing, can you develop the skill of sales to make your overall skill set more valuable? Possibly. Those are the 3 questions I would ask yourself if you're thinking, what skills can I stack with my original skill to turn my skills into a skill set? And a skill set is basically just a service, as long as you can make it produce a result, which we'll talk about in a minute. So that's the kind of idea. I mean, again, take Charlie, for example, right? He's one of my oldest students, and he started with me with a skill of copywriting. That's the only skill he had. That was it. He didn't even have the skill of copywriting, but he learned the skill of copywriting. Okay, that's where he started. Fantastic. He then learned the skill of funnel building because he thought it was going to be a good skill stack, which it was. He then learned the skill of sales and VSLs, which is like virtual sales letters. He then learned the skill of webinars and how to actually build out webinars. And now he makes a ridiculous amount of money. Here's him closing a 5K deal for a webinar campaign. And as you can see here, he's almost at 20K a month, which is incredible. You know, as you can see here, he's saying his life's getting really crazy. That's like, that is life-changing numbers, right? And again, he started with copywriting. He wasn't even very good at it, to be honest, but he stacked and stacked and stacked and stacked. So now he's not a copywriter, no. He has a full service, and which is webinar building, because he stacked all these skills on top of each other to actually produce a result, okay? And that's the power of skill stacking. That's the kind of thing you can do when you stack your skills. It's not a like a standalone skill, one lonesome skill, no. It's about what do these skills, when they're put together, what do they create? And that is creating a service. So that is kind of part 1 done, okay? Again, just to kind of recap, now you would have found and qualified your skill, okay? You can find it using these methods. You can qualify it using the skill validator and asking yourself if it's high income. If it is high income, fantastic, it's qualified. Sharpen your skill. That's just doing your skill over and over and over and over again to get better at it, and skill stacking. Now you would ideally identify your skill, which is a huge first step. Now we move on to step 2, which is your market, okay? And we're going to talk about actually how to find a profitable market that you can sell your skill to, and the knowledge bias. Knowledge bias basically being how can you use your already existing knowledge to find the right market and sell to that market, okay? So let's kind of dive into it. Now, first thing you need to realize is that skills mean nothing without the right market, okay? Now, the market you choose also determines the value of your skill. Like I spoke about before, video editing would work really nicely for a coach, but it wouldn't work very nicely for a restaurant, right? So the market you choose will determine how valuable your skill is. Actually, I'm going to give you an example of video editing here. So you can have the skill of video editing, right? And you could offer it, number 1, to a gaming YouTuber. Happy days. You could also offer it to a coach or a consultant. Now, if you were to offer it to the gaming YouTuber, you would probably make around $500 a month. Like, there's not too much more money you would make from a gaming YouTuber, because what are they getting out of it? A nicely edited video? That's pretty much it. It's a convenience, you know, that's all it may be. However, if you're offering it to a coach or a consultant and they sign their clients through content and Instagram, you can easily help them make a lot of money. And the reason a coach or consultant would be willing to pay you over $3K per month quite easily for this is because of the fact that your service will make them in excess of that. You know, your service will help them make, I don't know, it could be anywhere from 5 to 10 to 20, whatever it may be, which means that they're going to be happy and willing to pay you a portion of that as basically a thank you, right? That's essentially what they're doing. So you've got to understand that the market you choose will determine how valuable your skill is, which is why you really have to understand how to choose the right market, okay? And this is just a stupid example. Here's actually how one of my students called Samuel used this himself and actually kind of used his principles. So when he joined me, this was way back in, 25th of June. So he said this, and basically to summarize his message, he basically said that he wasn't very sure about the market that he was targeting, and he thought it'd be better to target other markets with a service. And that's basically what we spoke about in the call. I had a call with him, we spoke about this, we decided on targeting a different market. This was then, as you can see, on the 3rd of July. So this was on the 25th of June, right? We made the change probably on the 27th of June. On the 3rd of July, he said, you know, man, I knew it'd work, but not like that. Just close a paid trial for $800 if the client closes a 4K retainer, and that client closed. So he went from literally, basically, he was a video editor. He wasn't making too much money. He was making about $1,000, $2,000 a month. And very quickly he goes from that plus 4K because he changed his market. As you can see here, again, this is the 13th of July. And he said, man, good morning, unbelievable, I have no words, I'll just show it to you. And as you can see here, he basically made an extra 8K on top of his revenue. He said it's closer to 67K, but still, I pretty much hit my biggest goal for our 3 months in 18 days. That is the power of choosing the right market. Okay, you can change the market that you're choosing, make sure you're choosing the right one and you're targeting the right one, and instantly your income can go like that. So the question becomes, what market do you choose? Okay, and the market you want to choose is the market that is going to benefit the most from your skills. Okay, that is the market that you want to choose. The question you need to to ask yourself to validate a good market and make sure you're choosing the right one is, what is their potential outcome? What is the market's potential outcome? Not what can I do for them or how much can I charge them? No, but what do they get out of it? Okay, because the more that the market you're selling your skill to will get out of it, the more they'll be willing to pay for it. So what market do you have a knowledge advantage in is another very, very good question you can ask yourself, because the more knowledge advantage you have within the market that you're working in, the easier it's going to be to actually serve that market. The easier it's going to be to be able to produce a result for that market because you already understand it. Take Kenny, for example. So as you can see here, Kenny does TikTok kind of video clipping. He does content distribution, which is essentially helping a creator take their content and distribute it across loads of platforms. Kind of like a clipping army, I guess, if you want to say that. On the 14th, he said he might have low-key bagged his first client, and I think this was a week later when he said it's in the bag, 3K a month plus 25% rev share across all social media platforms. Now, the reason I bring Kenny up is because his service is content distribution, and he didn't know what market to work with, but he ended up going with a market that he has a knowledge advantage in because he understood what content did well. So he actually ended up choosing the automotive industry, and he started working with car YouTubers who want to basically split their content up and put it across short form platforms. And again, the reason he did that is because he understood what content performed well within that market. So he basically changed the market he sold his service to, and made sure he sold it to the right one, and quite quickly went from this to this, and this didn't even take him that long either, which is again a massive advantage. So having a knowledge advantage means that you already know how you can apply this skill. That is the key. You know where the pain is. Again, if you used to work in the real estate industry, the real estate niche, and you want to sell the skill of automation to them, you probably already know where they would need the skill of automation, or if they even need it in the first place. So having that knowledge advantage of the market that you're working in is huge. So let's have a look at what some people are doing in the inner circle, because I always think it's helpful to kind of like get like a brief overview of what other people are doing, hopefully to spark some curiosity for you. So here's some examples of what people are doing. We have people helping fintech companies write blogs to increase their online presence using the skill of copywriting. We have people building AI chatbots for car dealerships to sell more cars. We have people building email systems for real estate brokerages to gather more data and sell more properties. We have people doing funnel optimization for coaches to increase sales and conversions. We have people building automation systems for coaches and consultants to help them systemize their workflow. I hope you are getting the idea. The biggest takeaway here is that any skill in any market can be monetized within reason, but the better you choose a market that needs your skill, as you can see here, that's what these guys have done, the easier it's going to be to sell your skill and of course sell it for more money because you know the market wants it, it's in demand, all right? So once you have a skill and you have a market with a problem that your skill can solve, you have a business. I cannot stress this enough. If you have a skill, any skill, and you have a market that needs your skill, they have a problem that you can solve with your skill, you have a business. You have something that can be monetized, you have something that can be sold, you have someone that wants it, happy days. It's almost a bit too simple. It's like, well, is that it? I've been thinking all these business models and these crazy different methods, that's what I need. No, a market, a good skill, a market, and a problem that you can solve, you have a business. Pretty incredible, pretty insane. So let's talk about number 3 then. Now we move on to service, and we're going to talk about your offer, we're going to talk about transformation and service delivery. Let me move this a little bit more centered here. So let's jump into it. Now, creating your skill into a service is the process of turning your skill into a service, okay? And turning your skill into a service is the process of actually kind of businessizing a skill. And what I mean by that is that a skill on its own is fine, don't get me wrong, but in order to actually sell a skill, you need to put it in some nice packaging. You need to put it in a nice box, nice bow tie on it to actually sell it so that people want it. In order to do that, you need to turn it into a service. So let's talk about the 3 ways that you can actually turn your skill into a service. Firstly, we're going to talk about your offer. Now, an offer is super, super important. But what actually makes a good offer and why do you need one? Now, your offer is the front door to your house, okay? Like, which door would you want to go through? If you're going to walk into a door, which one would you choose to walk into? Chances are you would probably choose the one on the right, yeah? Not this scatty one that looks dilapidated, but this nice looking one on the right. Now, the truth is that your offer is just like a door, okay? And what I mean by that is that no matter how nice your house is in your service, what you can actually do, and how much it has to offer, if your front door, which is your offer, is shit, then no one is coming in. All right. And what I mean by that is that your offer is like it's what people hear about. If you meet me and I say, hi, what do you do? And you tell me your offer. We help people do this and achieve this result. I don't like the sound of it. I don't care how good you are at the thing. If I don't like the sound of it because your offer isn't very good, I'm not going to work with you. That's why your offer is so incredibly important, and it's what actually makes a service, okay? Your offer is the packaging of your service, and your goal should be to make your offer as no-brainer as possible. You want to make it simple and sweet for the person you're selling it to, okay? So make it so valuable that people would feel stupid saying no to it. In fact, this is what Alex Hormozy wrote an entire book over, just offers on its own. That should really stress to you the importance of a good offer if someone can write an entire book about the one topic and the one subject. How do you build an offer? Well, we've got to look at your elevator pitch. Now, your elevator pitch is basically the way you can explain your business to someone in a snapshot. Okay, and the idea of why it's called an elevator pitch is that if I were to get in an elevator ride with you and we pressed a button and you said, what do you do? What's your business? I have an elevator ride to tell you my business, and this is the way I'm going to do it. This is the way I'm going to present it to you that makes it sound unique and sleek and nice and nicely packaged up. Okay, and it's we help niche being the people that you want to work with, niche being the market, achieve result. What is it you're trying to help them achieve? Is it sign more clients? Is it to save time and make money? Like, what is it? In time frame, how long is it going to take you to actually deliver the result? Quite simple, quite straightforward. Using unique mechanism. Now, this is your skill. What are you using to do it without common objection? Now, common objection, I don't want to go into it too much, but common objection is basically, it's why would people say no? If I had an option to say no to you and you were trying to offer me a service, why would I say no? If you can preempt that, you can preempt the common objection, it's an absolute no-brainer, because it's like, you're saying, Callum, do you want this chocolate, right? And I'm thinking, yeah, I do want the chocolate, but in my head I'm thinking, oh, that's going to fill me up and spoil my dinner. But then you tell me, Callum, the chocolate is such a unique chocolate that it actually doesn't fill you up at all. And I'm thinking, amazing, that's what I was going to say. That's the reason I was going to say no to it. And they've kind of told me that my no doesn't matter, which is incredible, because it's just like a nice kind of sales method and technique. But that's what it looks like. Okay, here's an example of it, of what it can look like. It can be, we help fitness coaches achieve more clients in 60 days or less using our high converting funnels without any dodgy sales tactics. So here is your niche, the fitness coaches, achieve more clients. That's the end result. More clients, more money in 60 days or less. That's the time frame, as you can see here. Okay, time frame here, using our high converting funnels, right? That is a unique mechanism. That's what they're doing it with, without any dodgy sales tactics. That is the common objection. That's the kind of idea. Okay, and in fact, this is the exact offer that Mason used, one of my top students who works with fitness coaches and fitness professionals and helps them create really high converting funnels. That is his exact offer that he used to sign clients, and now he's actually over 10k a month now. Pretty insane, right? Again, one singular skill, not a business model, not some crazy method and technique that's only trendy for the next couple months before it goes out of date. A skill that's evergreen. It's going to last forever. And that's what he used. Now, the more you work on improving your offer and making it a win-win situation for them, the people you're working with, the more clients you will sign at ease. Okay, I can't stress that point enough. I cannot stress that point enough. Work on making your offer an absolute killer. Again, if you want some homework, read this book. That will tell you how to create a really, really cool killer offer. All right. Now we move on to number 2, which is your transformation. Now, your transformation is pretty straightforward. Like, your skill needs to create a transformation. It needs to take someone from where they are to where they want to be. Okay, because if your skill doesn't create a transformation, then it doesn't mean anything. It's not a service. For example, it could be helping someone go from no clients to signing clients. It could be helping them go from a messy system to an automated system, a low conversion rate on their website to a high conversion rate, poor social media presence to a strong presence, no email marketing to fully systemized email marketing. This is a transformation. Any business achieves a transformation. Let's look at this. A transformation from skinny to jacked. That's what fitness coaches do. That's a transformation. Transformation from broke to rich. That's a transformation. Transformation from sad to happy. It's a transformation. And these are obviously like 3 of the biggest niches out there, wealth, health, and happiness. So that's the kind of idea. But every business will create a transformation, whether it's from sad to happy, or I didn't have that product, now I have that product, which makes me happy because I'm able to do this. Everything has to create a transformation. If you can't help them achieve some kind of transformation, then you don't have an offer, and furthermore, you don't have a service. Okay, so identify the place you want to get them to with your skill. That's the key. If you can identify where you want to get them to, you have a business, which is exciting. You should be like absolutely, ramped up with excitement. So, number 1, offer. Number 2, you've got to help them achieve transformation. Number 3, your service delivery. Now, you know the end result you want to help someone achieve, okay? You now need to create the process of how you're going to get them there, which is AKA the process of delivering your service. If I am a fitness coach and I want to help someone go from fat to fit, okay, what is the exact process I'm going to go through? Because I can't just go poof and you're fit now, right? It's not going to work like that. I need to break down the individual steps to get them there. I need to first sit down with them and talk about their diet, their lifestyle, their habits, how much they sleep, how much they walk around, all these minor details that actually create the transformation. That is the process I need to go through to help them achieve the result. And you may not know this yet, and that's absolutely fine. If you're doing a new skill, that's okay. This will start to become much more clear as you learn your skill and your service, but it's something you need to strive towards, okay? It's something you need to aim for, but you'll learn it the more that you do it if you don't already have a lot of experience in your skill. But nonetheless, you need to build that out. If I started working with you tomorrow with your skill or your service, what's the first step? If you don't know the first step, you need to build that out, and the second, and the third, and the fourth, and the fifth, every single step along the way, okay? So those are the three things: offer, transformation, service. Once you've got those three, you're golden. And then we move on to number 4, which is leads, okay? And this is actually generating leads, which is basically, portions of your market that you can actually reach out to, okay? So just to kind of recap so far, you've got your skill, you've got your market, you want to sell your skill to. You've turned your skill into a service, which means you can actually sell it to, you have something tangible you can sell to your market. Now we need to talk about how can you find your market? How can we find people you can reach out to? Now, the first thing to understand is that there is no number one best lead generation method or approach. There's no number one best way that beats all the others, okay? They all work. But there is one that is better than others, better, not the best, but is better than others. And that is what's known as the Upwork method, as you can see here, okay? Now, Upwork is essentially like a freelancing website where freelancers go on and they try and get jobs. Very simple, very straightforward. And it's actually the process of using Upwork freelancers to generate you mass quality leads at scale, okay? And I know you may be thinking, oh, but I don't want to spend money to generate me leads. I don't want to do that. I want to do this with no money and all that kind of stuff. This is what's known as a cost of sale, okay? And every business has to factor this in. You are not going to make money without spending a penny. It's just not true. It's just not true whatsoever. You're going to have to spend money on something, whether that's food to keep you alive whilst running your business, whatever it may be. So there's a cost of sale. It's how much it's going to cost you money-wise to actually get a client. And then you can kind of subtract one from the other and you'll have your net profit. Your time is valuable. Something you need to realize. Your time is valuable, which means you need to spend it on the highest leverage opportunities, the one that matter the most. And let me be honest, generating leads, lead generation is not a very high leverage opportunity. It can be done by anyone with half a brain cell, which is why we outsource it, we delegate it, we give it to someone else, okay? You can pay anywhere from 15 cents to 20 cents per qualified lead, per lead that will want to work with you or is the right kind of fit to work with you. And if you close just one of those leads on a 2K package, which is pretty cheap for a package, that's a pretty good return on investment. You can pay 20p to get a lead and you can close them on a 2K package. I don't even know what kind of X amount on your money it is, but there's a lot. And here's some examples of actually how you can actually post these jobs. So when you're on Upwork and you're essentially, you're looking for a freelancer that can help you out, here's the kind of thing that you can post on Upwork. For example, this is an example job post. I'll let you look through it if you want to. I'll kind of move on to the next, but here's what it could look like. You're looking for a fast and efficient data scraper, someone to get you leads, and this is the information that you need. Very straightforward, very simple, okay? You can say the amount you're looking for, you can say what you need from them, all that kind of stuff. You can be as detailed or as brief as you want. That's an example job post. Here's an example response, and these are actually responses that I got from freelancers that I posted the job and they replied. So here's an example response of what they would say. It's like, dear hiring manager or name, whatever it is, I'm excited to help you. In response to your project, I will provide you with 300 leads, including company names, decision-making names, blah, 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 blah. I've successfully completed similar projects for clients in the past, and I'll be happy to share examples. So now I've found someone, in this case, it's this guy. I found someone that can generate me leads at scale very, very quickly. And I think this guy did it with like less than a week or something. And that's going from no one to reach out to with my service to having 300 people to reach out to like that. That is the power of using something like Upwork, okay? And here's the example outcome. So here's just an example. You can steal these if you want. It's Web3 leads. Here's an example of what he generated me. So he generated me the company name, the company domain, the first name of the decision maker, last name, personal email, and personal LinkedIn. So I had all the information I needed to, let's say, click on one of them and reach out to them. Very, very simply, very easy, okay? And this is how you can go from 0 leads to thousands and thousands of leads in a matter of days. All you have to do is close one of those leads and you would make well over 1,000 times or 100 times, I think it's 1,000 times your money back very, very quickly. So for example, just to kind of recap, you can pay 15 cents per lead. You can get someone to generate you 1,000 leads, right, for $150 or 100 leads for $15, and you can close one of them on a 2K package. That is making a lot of your money back, and that's something you can definitely do, something you have to realize, okay? And then we talk about outreach. So let's say you've got the leads, you've got loads of people you can reach out to. How do we actually contact them? How do we outreach to them? Now, There's a bunch of questions you'll probably have. It's where are they? How do I reach out to them? What do I say? How do I get their attention? How do I sell to them? Now, to answer those questions in brief, where are they? Hit them where they exist. Okay, depending on the market that you're working with, they're going to be in different locations. So if they're a business owner, they'll probably be on LinkedIn. If they're a creator, like an influencer, they'll probably be on Instagram. If they're a local business, you can call them or email them. It's not about there's one best method to reach out to them. No, just reach out to them where they already exist. Very straightforward and very easy to do. Okay, again, just be logical about it. I'm not gonna try and find the owner of a beauty salon on LinkedIn. I mean, I probably could. Like, that's not a bad method, but when I can call or email them, very easy. But do you know what I can't call? An influencer online. Can't call them. They're probably not on LinkedIn. If they're like on Instagram or something, can't go to their shop. They don't have one, so I'd have to Instagram them. That's the kind of idea. Okay, now what do I say? How do I get their attention? How do I sell to them? Let's talk about the way to actually succeed with outreach, which is going to kind of answer all of these questions. Now, here's a few methods of how to actually succeed with outreach. Be human. Be value-led. Don't try and sell your service. Instead, prove yourself. You want to prove to them why you are someone that they should work with. Okay, very straightforward. And volume. That's the fourth one. Volume. It's a numbers game. You've got to outreach to a lot of people before you start getting responses, and with people actually saying, yes, I'm interested. Yes, I want to work with you. So it's volume, and it's a lot of volume either, not just a little bit, a lot. So here's an outreach approach that will trump all, which is basically doing nothing but providing value and giving them a no-brainer offer. Okay, so the idea is that if I'm reaching out to a business owner, let's say they own a clothing brand, okay, and I want to reach out to them and I want to help them build a better website. That's my skill. I could reach out to them and say, hey, I'm really good at building websites. Let's jump on a call and I'll tell you how to build a website, or I'll tell you how I would improve your website. That's fine. It's not too bad, but also no one's going to say yes to that, because why the hell should they? There's no proof of concept. There's no reason for them to trust you. They don't know you're good, all this kind of stuff. They're not going to waste their time. So you want to be value-led. You want to basically almost offer them things with nothing in return. I want to help you, and I don't want anything back from it. I just want to give. That's what people want to hear. That is music to their ears. And so this is what an example email can look like that you can send out. There's actually a quality offer and an outreach message that will get open and will get responded to. And I know it works because people have done it and signed clients. But let's go for it. So, hey, name, I respect your time, so I'm not going to try and steal 30 seconds of it trying to show off how great I am. This is you acknowledging what most people do and acknowledging what you're, telling them what you're not going to do well in advance. My name is Name, and I specialize in helping people achieve a result. And this is where you talk about the transformation, What is a transformation you want to help people achieve? Once you've identified that, it's much easier to actually kind of piece it together. I want to offer you a free audit with no strings attached, and if I can find 3 ways that I can make you more money, all I ask is a call to run you through them. If I can't find 3 ways, I'll say cheerio and won't bother you again. All I ask for is your go ahead, and I'll dive in. And then I'll cut a bit off here, but it says, let me know if you're okay with that, and I'll get cracking, best name. So this works with any service you're doing. Whatever the transformation is that you're trying to help them achieve, you kind of got to explain that, listen, if I can help you find 3 ways that I can help you achieve this transformation, let's jump on a call, let's talk about it. And this is a kind of message that will get responded to. Reason being is because there's no upfront risk for the person. They're going to say, yeah, sure, go for it. Like, crack on, go for it. See if you can find 3 ways you can make me money, or find 3 ways you can optimize my website, or find 3 ways you can improve my emails, no matter what your service is. This way, no risk up front. It's value driven. You're not trying to pretend you're someone you're not. You're not boasting about how good you are. You're literally just saying, I want to help you. If I can find 3 ways that I can, let's jump on a call. If not, no worries, That is why this message is so high quality, because it just works. It flows flawlessly, okay? This is value-led. It's not assuming that you can solve every problem that they have, but it's a no-brainer nonetheless. You're opening up an opportunity for them, okay? And worst comes to worst, they say, no, I'm not looking for anything to do with that. Cool. At least now you know and you can move on, okay? So this works with the majority of services. Again, content optimization, funnel building, running ads, design, automation, building webinars, selling information, the lot. No matter what it is, this style of message, you would tweak it to suit your service, but this style of message works flawlessly, okay? Here's an example, right? So this is Ollie here, Ollie Sleep. You can see he actually used this audit offer when he sent his outreach messages, and he signed his first client in 1 month and 20 days in. It was $700 for the first month, and then a £900 monthly retainer, which is just over $1,000. So not that much, but again, a good starting point. And so did Philip. He did the exact same thing, closed a client for €1,000, and so did Hugo here. And as you can see here, he was on the brim of closing 4 different projects and getting 3.2k profit for the month, and he did. So, and these guys all used, as you can see here, they all had audit offers, very similar to the one above, very similar kind of idea. Let me see if I can help you. Not trying to prove myself, trying to talk about myself and boast. Let me see if I can help you. If I can, let's see how we can make it work. Let's see how we can make it happen. That's the kind of idea. And I know this is very confusing, and it's probably a lot when it comes to all of this stuff, but remember this, Outreach to your leads is about proving to someone that you can help them. There is no perfect script, but as long as you're value first, you'll grab people's attention, okay? And remember that you're trying to sell a call. You're not trying to sell your service. Okay, I can't stress that enough because so many people are trying to boast about how good their service is. No, you want to sell the opportunity for them to jump on a call with you. That's why this audit offer works so well, because you're not saying, let me sell you my service of copywriting. No, you're saying, if I can help you, let's jump on a call and talk about it. You're selling the call, and then on the call, you can sell the service. That's where a sales call comes in, okay? So just to kind of recap, getting leads, use the Upwork method. Super simple to do, no matter what industry you're working in, no matter what market you're working in. It can be the tech space, it can be fashion brands, it can be influencers, it can be coaches and consultants. You can use the Upwork method to generate you mass leads at scale. There's thousands of methods to use, don't get me wrong, but the Upwork method works nicely. I like it a lot because of the customization. You can choose what you want the people to scrape and what information you want, and then you can just pick and choose based on what that is, what you want to go ahead with. So it's super simple, super flawless, super nice. And of course, when you come to the outreach, don't worry about this too much. Just be human, be value-led. Don't try and sell your service. Instead, just prove yourself that you know what you're talking about. And then, of course, this kind of message works nicely. It's an audit offer, okay? And that actually is kind of, step 4 wrapped up. That is how you get leads using the Upwork method, and you do lead generation at scale, okay? And of course, how you outreach at scale. That's the kind of idea, just very, very brief, very simply, all right? And now we move on to the final piece of the puzzle, okay? Number 5, sales. And we're gonna go over sales framework and sales principles. Now, sales is a funny thing, and I know that a lot of people are terrified of sales. I may say sales and it will send shivers down your spine, but the truth is that the more afraid you are of sales, the more afraid it is of you. And I know that's kind of a silly thing to say, but it's more about the idea of the more you push off sales and the more you don't want to sell, the worse you're going to be at it and the more you're going to hate it. It starts this compound effect, No matter what business you're in, no matter what people will tell you, you have to sell. Whether that's on a call, whether that's over email, whether it's a text message, whatever it is, you have to sell your service, okay? Unless obviously you're so incredibly good and let's say you have a personal brand or something, people will come to you. Even that, you have to sell to people. But the idea is that the more you kind of tackle sales head on, saying, I'm going to kill it, you will kill it. It's a completely a psychology thing. It's all a mindset thing, all right? Sales is just a conversation between two people where you're looking to see if you can solve their problem. Simple. I promise you, when you stress about it and you worry about it and you get nervous and you get panicky, and I know all these emotions because I have had all of these emotions, it will resent you. Sales will run away from you, and that's not what you want. So I'm going to take you through a very, very basic sales framework that I use no matter what I sell. And I've been using this framework since I started selling social media management, and I still use it now when I sell my coaching. And it works flawlessly, so nicely, because it is so customizable. And it's not a step-by-step script. It's not like, and then say this, and then when they respond to this, say this, and then when they respond to this, say this. No, because sales calls never go the way you want them to go. Sales calls never go that way. So you've got to really be on the ball with it. It's got to be a case of, based on what is happening, based on what they've responded with, that's what you then respond with, Let me show you the framework. So this is the idea, okay? I'm going to quickly go through it. So on the top left, you've got rapport, social proof, scarcity, and urgency. That's when you kind of jump on a call with someone and you go, hey, how are you? How's the weather over there? Where are you based? Have a chat, build up a bit of rapport, a bit of conversation, get that stuff flowing. Next is setting the agenda. And this is where you basically say to them, right, this is how the sales call is going to go. This is what we're going to talk about. This is what we're going to discuss. Because the more in control you are of a sales call, the easier it is to close on a sales call. Because again, you are in control of everything. That's the idea, right? Then you've got the why, which is basically identifying why they're on the call with you, which is pretty straightforward because there's always going to be a reason why someone's on the call with you, because otherwise they wouldn't be on the call with you, right? Next is figuring out their current situation. Where, let's say you're talking to a company, right? Where are they currently at in regards to your service? Let's say your service is website development. Where are they currently at with the website? What's working, what's not? Did they build it on Wix or Squarespace and it's not very good? Where are they currently at? Next, where do they want to get to? What's their desired situation? What is their end goal they want to get to? They want to have a really nice website, or they want to have a high converting website, or they want their website to stand out from their competition. What is that desired outcome? Pain, kind of what's stopping them from getting there? What is the gap between where they are and where they want to be? Why aren't they where they want to be? That's the kind of idea, right? When you figure that out, it's very, very easy to then talk about your solution, because what you're doing here essentially is you're in very, very brief detail, you're figuring out why they're on the call, where they're at, where they want to get to, what's stopping them. Then you can just fit your service in there. When you understand where they want to get to, where they're at, and what's stopping them from getting to where they want to be, you can provide the solution. Well, cool, I can help you with that. Oh, okay, the reason you don't have a nice website is because you don't have the time to build a nice website and you don't have anyone that can help you build a nice website. Cool, I can help you with that. It's very, very simple. Summary, which is where you kind of like summarize everything here, why they're on a call, their current desired pain. Solution, which is where you provide the solution. So okay, cool, so you're here, you want to get here, and you're not there yet because of this reason. Well, that's great because, we can help you we can help you solve that pain and get around that. And then you can go for the price and objection, which is where you say, and this is what our service costs. But doing it in this way is flawless because it's not pressury. It's not like a kind of hardcore high intensity sales call. No, you're having a chat with them. You're gathering information. You're gathering ammunition. So when the time's right, you can fire where you need to fire. That's the idea. And it's simple, right? Just looking at this box right here, that's how you sell anything you want to sell. And this works in person. It works on calls, it works on text, whatever it is. This is how it's done. And it's very, very simple when you look at it like this. Obviously, there's so much more that goes into it. There's methods and there's strategies and there's certain things that you'll say at certain different points. That's not what I'm trying to take you through. What I'm trying to say is that sales is okay. And it's very easy to learn sales. You can do it on YouTube, whatever you want, all right? People tend to have a lot of limiting beliefs with sales calls that makes it impossible for them to actually close on sales calls. And it's funny because once you realize that your beliefs are limiting you, you can get rid of them and find sales much more easy and fun. Here's a few examples of limiting beliefs. Limiting belief number 1, I don't have case studies. Well, that's fine because people don't care about your case studies. They care about how good your offer is and what's in it for them. Pretty straightforward, right? Next one, I'm scared of rejection. Cool. Rejection is good. It builds experience. So seek out rejection because only then will you learn. You're not going to be good at sales getting started, and you have to kind of go through that hump of figuring out what works and what doesn't and where you mess up, Next, I'm an introvert. Cool. So is 60% of the world. So that's not anything to worry about. That's not an excuse, nothing to worry about. I don't know how to sell. Selling is just understanding basic psychology, which is good for you because it's easy to learn. Okay, so again, when you're selling, let's break it down as much detail as possible. When you are selling to someone, you are the doctor, okay? They have come to you with a pain point, otherwise they wouldn't be there. They've come to you with pain somewhere. Your job is to figure out where the pain is, figure out why they're not painless, why they have pain, and identify the solution of how you can solve that pain. Okay, you come to me, you have a sore stomach, a sore tummy, whatever you want to call it, right? A sore stomach. I need to identify why you have that. I need to identify why you don't have a healthy stomach. I need to identify what you've been doing and what's gone wrong. And then I need to provide you the medicine that solves that. Exact same thing with sales, okay? You're providing the solution to their needs and obviously why they're on a call with you, okay? And that is the basic structure of how to actually sell. That's the basic framework, and it's much more simple when you think about it like this. It's not as scary. Now, ladies and gents, that is the majority of it, okay? That is the framework that I've just taken you through. Let's just quickly recap on where we're at. So now you understand the foundations, you understand business models and the ugly truth. You also understand how to identify a high income skill. That's number 1. You also understand how to identify a market that you can sell your services to or skills to. You also now know how to actually turn your skills into a service, which is, number 3, crucially important. You also know how to generate leads to sell your service to, and you now know the basics, a very, very rough idea of how to sell. I do not lie to you when I say that this framework right here is the best thing you can possibly learn. This is how you monetize any skill that you want to monetize. It's how you do it with ease. And this is what people are missing out on. This is where people are messing up. People are trying business models and to jump on trends and to try different things because they see, Iman Gadzhi talk about the newest, craziest, groundbreaking business model. I've done a lot of studying of these gurus, right, and these great people who are big in the space, have absolutely killed it, X, Y, Z. And when you look at how they actually present their business models, they do it in a way that makes you scared. It makes you worried. It makes you feel like you're missing out. And that's where the marketing and sales tactics comes in. Like Iman Gadzhi, when he introduces his SMMA, he says this new model that experts are calling the best approach of 2023 or whatever it is, 2024. Okay, that scares you. It makes you feel like you're going to miss out. Like you're, okay, oh God, this is an expert business model, and if I miss out on this, I'm done for. I'm not trying to scare you. I'm not trying to manipulate you. I'm trying to provide you the basic foundations of how you can monetize any skill. And again, I have hundreds of people that have successfully monetized skills, their own passion, their own uniqueness, their own expertise, okay? That is the quality of this. That is where this really stands out. The skill to profit framework is what it says on the tin. It's how to turn any skill you have into profit, into a profitable cash flowing business. And I promise you, it will beat and top any business model in longevity, okay? Especially longevity, but also longevity in the amount of money that you can make, the length that you can do it for, and how you can scale. It's ridiculous. It honestly really is. But yeah, let me know if this all made sense. If you've got any questions about it, let me know down in the comments below. But this is a majority of it. This is the kind of overview of the Skill to Profit framework. And just in case for some reason you still don't believe this works, this is Samuel, who's a video editor from Brazil, who I mentioned earlier, who went from nothing to 8K within 13 days since starting his business. In a third world country with all odds stacked against him, with probably one of the most common skills that people have. Or Charlie, for example, who started off with nothing, built out his skill and service of copywriting, and now makes almost $20,000 a month. But it's not just them. There are more and more and more, and countless people that have done the exact same thing. And all of these people are in a very similar situation to you, and not too long ago either, all lost and confused with where to start, probably burnt out by business models, and just want something that works. And they decided to go back to basics, learn a skill, monetize a skill, and that's where these people have got to. And I know this all sounds super exciting, but just a word of quick warning, if you do go and try and do this yourself, it will take you a while to figure it out, and there's going to be countless reasons due to that fact. It may be that you picked the wrong niche or service. It may be that you don't know how to get a contractor, or that your outreach messages are getting no replies, or that your sales techniques are wrong. Although this framework is simple, you still have to be extremely logical with the action that you take and make sure that you're doing it properly. And if you can solve all these problems, then the rewards are most definitely worth it. But there has never been an easier time in the modern day to get started with a brand new business, with the resources that are out there. And the way that I see it is you've got three options of where you can go from here. Okay, option one is that you choose to do nothing with what you've just learned in this video. You choose to be a civilian, go back to doing what you were doing prior, and you tell yourself that there is no way what he is saying is true. And if you want to do that, then please go for it by all means. But if you've watched this far, then you are truly interested in turning your skills into a business, which means that you know deep down everything I've said is true and does work, which brings us to option two, which is where you take all the information that you've learned today and you go and try your hand at it yourself, which 100,000% will work. But you've got to remember that it will cost you time, it will cost you energy, it will cost you countless different setbacks, as I had to go through myself. And long term, it will be more expensive because you have what's known as an opportunity cost, the cost you have to pay for not taking advantage of an opportunity and not taking action on something that could help you excel. Which then brings us to option three. And this isn't usually the option that I offer to many people, but you've watched till the end of this very long video, so you're more than deserving of it. Option three is that you work one-to-one with me and I help you get results like everyone you've seen in this video. I help you identify your skill, build and create a game plan of how you can sell that skill for the most amount of money possible, and help you scale that skill into a business, furthermore into an actual entity where you can detach yourself from, you can buy back your time, and you can actually do something that you like for a living that makes you a ridiculous amount of money. You know, scale that service into a fully fledged business that you don't even really need to be a part of if you do it correctly, as well as meeting all of the other successful individuals inside the group. Not only will you be mentored by me, but you'll also be mentored by our outreach coach, our sales coach, our copy coach, our automations coach, and all of the other like-minded individuals within this group that are far further ahead than you, all making 5, 10, 20K a month. This is the path that will help you scale thousands of times quicker than if you were to do it yourself. And if it doesn't sound good already, we offer a guarantee. We offer an action-based guarantee, which basically means that if you do what we say and you show up to the calls, the weekly Q&A calls, you take action, you show up to the one-to-one calls with me, and you don't make your money back within the first 3 months, then you get free mentorship until you do, for lifetime. So as long as you take action, you are guaranteed to make money, which means that it's practically zero risk for you. And this is currently the lowest price that the Inner Circle will be at. I mean, days in the future, it may not be this price anymore, I don't know. But the plan is that as more people get results, as I get more coaches in, as the training gets built out, the price will just increase. And the more you wait, the more you are missing out on the opportunity to hit those 10K months. My favorite quote from Alex Hormozy is that it's costing you 10K a month for every month that you're not making 10K a month. It's a perspective change that you need to take on board and understand that there is an opportunity cost to life. There is an opportunity cost to inaction. And there are students in the Inner Circle who are connecting together, building businesses together. Some are even going on holidays together. So it's not just the training that you're going to get, it's also the community and the network that you get. In fact, on the 18th of January, we have our first ever live Skill to Profit event in person, where we're all meeting up in this high-rise venue where we're going to have food and drinks and meat and network and all this kind of stuff. This isn't just a little program where you invest a bit of money and you disappear. It's a new chapter to enter. It's a new world to step into. So at this point, if you're even slightly considering joining, let me actually show you what you're going to get. You will get over 35 hours of high quality, super valuable content. You'll get a new module every single week within the Inner Circle, because this isn't a business model where you learn one thing and then you finish. No, this is business, which means that there is always new training training to be learned. There is always something new, a new avenue to take, which the modules reflect that. And these aren't just overarching modules either. We dive into the depths of the depths, how to find your skill, how to find the market, going into sales psychology in the most depth that you've probably ever seen. There is a 4-hour-long module specifically on outreach, how to outreach to your ideal clients. In fact, it's longer than 4 hours now because we put out a new module last week. What I'm trying to say is that this is an ever-expanding platform, which means that if you're getting in now, you're getting at the lowest price it could possibly be. The only thing that's going to happen is you're going to get more content put in front of your face. And I've been in many courses and programs from all of your favorite gurus. I've spent probably over 20K on different training materials and courses, and I've documented it before. And I've done it all to kind of build my own version of it that I know is superior to all the others out there. And I think it's fair to say that we've done exactly that. We have built the best training program that is tailored towards anyone, individuals. It's not a copy and paste business model program. No, it's a program that is tailored to you. It's customizable, it's bespoke. And this isn't a step-by-step to hold your hand either, because honestly, I don't want to hold your hand, okay? I want to help excel you. I want to point you in the right direction. So let me actually summarize what you're going to get if you were to join the Inner Circle today. You will get full access to the 35+ long hour training within the Inner Circle program. You'll get access to Kaizen Connected, which is essentially our beginner-friendly additional course to get you started from scratch. You will get template contracts, tried and tested sales scripts, outreach scripts, access to the Inner Circle community, which is full of people making a lot of money, in-person meetups around the world, live weekly Q&A calls with myself and other coaches, recordings of previous calls dating back months and months and months. You don't just get what you're paying for at the time, you're getting everything prior. And you also get 24/7 access to my personal WhatsApp number. And I'm not joking when I say that. If I'm going on my WhatsApp, these are all my clients. These are people that I speak to on a frequent, possibly even daily basis. And I know that this is inefficient. I know for other big coaches out there, they will not speak to you one-to-one, but I value the people that I speak to, and I know how important it is to get that one-to-one help and that one-to-one support, which means you can message me whenever you want with whatever question you have. And I find that the more people annoy me, the more people message me on a frequent basis, the better results I get. So if you like everything I've shown you today and you're someone who wants to invest in your future, then click the top link in the description below and it will take you to a page where you can apply to join the Inner Circle, because you do have to apply. We have to make sure that you're actually suited and that you're someone that's going to benefit the group and not be a pain in our ass, basically. And I'm not even joking when we say this. We reject probably about 70% of applications. Maybe they're just not qualified, or they're not the right type of fit, or they haven't got the right kind of approach. You have to be specific of this. So apply down below, give it as much detail as you possibly can, and our team will be in contact to reach out and see if we can help you turn your skills into profit. But anyway, thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you did learn a thing or two. I hope that training was valuable. Again, you can go back through it, screenshot, take notes, whatever you want to do. And I promise you, if you take action on it regardless, you will make money.